Well, if we had a clutch on this show, we'd be shifting gears really hard.
Yeah.
We would be. We are shifting gears really hard. So many of you know that at this point we usually go to download of the week and then they set it, but we're not doing any of that today.
Yeah.
So because we have an announcement to make.
Yes.
As many of you know, I've been working on PhD, and that has become rather stalled for me. And a few weeks ago, I sat down to just take a look at my time. Where am I spending my time? And last month, we celebrated 5 years of the Techology Show. It started out really simple.
Yes, it did.
And Matthew and I have begged people not to go back to watch some of this.
Yeah.
Even though we've made them available to you.
Yeah, please
resist the temptation.
Please don't listen to them. You can't even watch them. Please don't
Yeah.
listen to them. But the show has grown, and to a product that we're proud of. The problem with that is that it has increasingly just taken my time. And when I sat down just a few weeks ago and looked at where I was spending my time, one significant area of my time was here. And so it came down to this. I was either going to finish the PhD or throw myself into the show. And, I regret to announce that I'm going to throw myself into my PhD. And so we had a meeting, Matthew, Heath, myself, about, what's the future of the Techology Show? And it became apparent that this is going to be our last podcast today. The amount of time that goes on behind the scenes is it's just a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
It is. And it takes all of us. Like the
right.
reality is, like, without somebody doing what you're doing, and again, I don't think people can appreciate it. Even Heath and I, even though we have some insight, I don't think we can fully appreciate the time and the investment that it takes in getting this done. But it cannot exist in the way that it is without that part. And rather than trying to put something together that we're not proud of, we feel like it's better to just push the stop.
Now, having said this, I do want to say this. I mean, originally I had blessed Matthew and Heath to go on, but again, just finding that third person is not going to happen. But some of our listeners, viewers, when you get this, you may have some ideas of your own that you would want to share with Heath and with Matthew about, possible just ideas that you have. The show could not run the way that it runs from the tech point of view without Matthew. All that. I mean, he does the magic.
We couldn't have the crashes like we've had the last couple of episodes.
It's great because people all the time are contacting me. How do you guys do? I don't have a clue how we do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk to Matthew.
There were, when I first came on, there were times when TG would be away, and those days were stressful because Tony had to steer the ship, and it was just...
At one point, we jumped the shark where it was like, okay, when Matthew's gone, we can't do the
Right,
show.
yeah.
It becomes so advanced.
Yeah, and for me, we told Tony that as he was praying and really seriously contemplating this decision, it wasn't... He had two good choices to choose from, and we fully
but even in
supported
that,
his decision.
both you and I, Heath, I believe that we both said... You have two good decisions, but there's really only one decision to make.
Right.
I mean, that was our stance. So it's not like I don't want somebody to feel like Tony, that you like threw us under the bus. On this,
no.
We're not talking anymore, but
yeah, exactly. We hate each other's guts now.
Well, and that's the thing is the show's been going on 5 years. I've been here almost 4 years. And I know,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, it's crazy. I remember moving down here and just saying, "Hey, if I move down here," and you guys are like, "Yes."
Well, I contacted you.
Listen, let's go back to that because we'd had Heath on as a guest a couple of times, okay, and
That's
we
right.
really liked Heath. Tony and I did. And of course, we knew Heath.
The viewers don't,
he
but Tony.
He just did such a good job in conversation that we were like, man, it would just be great to have Heath as a part of the show. So then we know Heath's taking a church in the area, and our conversation was, we got to get Heath. We've got to get him to come on every week.
So I called Heath and I said, listen, with you coming close, Matthew and I were talking about this show. I got no further than that. He said, yes. Yes.
Yeah. And that was actually a conversation I'd had with my wife, because when we came down to interview, that was the first time I came to your house, and that was, when we were still in the basement. Yeah. And so it has just been, I think back of how fun it's been. I think about the people that we have got to meet, many some in person and some just online, some of our personal heroes, people we look up to.
We were talking about Skype today. Matthew's looking at the Skype list. Like, whoa, who should we Skype today?
Yeah.
People on our contact.
Yeah. I've got
Mark Patterson.
All kinds of people who pop up. Like I hold within my power the ability to contact so many people. I could just call them up and break into whatever they're doing. I love it. Oh man.
So I want to say, before we go off air today, just a huge thanks to you, Matthew. It's been you and I have been on the ride together from the beginning.
We have, and it's been. So, like we're treating this very happily, but let's speak frankly.
It's a death, man.
The past 2 weeks have been as we've worked through the process. It's really been tough.
Yeah.
Because 5 years, I could count on two hands. I don't think it'd be over 10 times that. Once a week, we weren't together in the same place or via Skype.
We missed 9 weeks, about 9 weeks since we started, roughly. So,
and
and a huge thanks to you too, Heath. I mean, it's been great. I call you the personality.
And the thing is, even though Matthew and I just felt that without Tony, it's not the technology show.
Right.
We could do a show and it would be something, but it wouldn't be the technology. There I go.
But you guys are open to some ideas, right? If listeners, viewers.
Oh yeah. I'm.
So don't
we're
email
free
me.
agents.
Email me.
Let's just put that out there. We're free agents.
I've started a wrestling, podcast. It's been a lot of fun. That's been very therapeutic for me in the season of life that I'm in. I know most people think that's pretty stupid, but I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to have that outlet if it weren't for you guys, if it weren't for this show, if it weren't for this show and the opportunities that has been given there for me. I wouldn't have the courage to walk up to strangers with a mic and a camera, say, "Hey, let me get a couple of thoughts from you." And if I go to any event, I take a mic and a camera. Just because you never know when you're going to get a chance to talk to somebody. And so I definitely, I feel like podcasting is just this huge thing now.
Even before we got started today. All right. I'm not trying to belabor something or drag it on here. All right. But we got time. Good gracious. We intend for an hour long podcast.
Listen, we'll go overtime today.
Who's going to fire us, right?
As we've grown this thing, I love looking back, not because it was great in the beginning, but because I was always pushing. Let's take the next step. Yeah. Let's take the next step. I can remember when we brought a video camera in for the first time, a little webcam. Let's try to do video. Could we do it? What pushed the boundaries? So if I talked about the kinds of programs that I've used. From a tech point of view. Started out just a Skype call and GarageBand, recording that Skype call. Then we made a switch to using CamTwist. Now I use a program called Boinks TV. And every time just pushing how far can we take this thing? And I love, that's just my personality.
Yeah, you've been the creative genius behind it, because even so as my role grew, it was like, hey, I wonder if we could.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we could do that,
Yeah. And so when we talk about feeling like something's dying, we're going to lose that. I mean, I'm going to just be looking for ways to invest that into something else.
I can't tell you how. I mean, I said it in the pre-show, but today was laborious for me.
Yeah.
I usually have questions done on the weekend and latest on Monday, have them out to. I was plunking out questions this morning, and I just every question was. It was a dagger to me because this is it.
Yeah, and
this is it.
And it's not that we said this before we started today too. It's not that doors are closing for us. Like the more avenues we've gone down, the more we've found to go down.
Yeah.
And what's sad is that there is a place for what we're doing.
Oh, wow.
There is a place for what we're
yeah,
doing.
I want to speak to that, but let me say this: there's one more thank you, and I have some honorable mentions here, but one more thank you, a person that you never see, you never hear of, but that's Sherry, my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, she has been a supporter of this from day one.
Yeah.
Matthews made the joke about this studio is our former bedroom, and it was.
It is.
Yeah.
And so, like, Matthew said it would be great if we could paint the walls black, And like Sherry was in here painting with me. She's been supportive. She's been sad about that that it's come to this. I mean, she's grieving with me, and so just a huge thanks to my wife.
Right.
I mean, I can't thank her enough.
Yeah. This today, like you said, it's been a double whammy for me because as we've talked about, my wife is suffering from Huntington's disease. We had a doctor's appointment this morning, and it got canceled after we got there. And so, like, for about a couple of days, I didn't think I was going to be able to be here today because of this doctor's appointment. And
Which
so,
would've
like,
stunk.
I cannot tell you the stress that the last 8 days, just knowing the things that I was, just kind of facing today. And even leave here, we go to a conference at my son's school. So it's just like, it is a sad day.
Okay, honorable mention, and then I want to get back to what you're talking about in terms of a market for this.
Sure,
All right,
sure.
honorable mention, Steve Stanley. How
Yes.
can we not?
Absolutely.
He
I
started
wish we
with
could
this.
pull him in, just for a second to give
Yeah.
him a hug and say thank you.
What a
'cause
guy.
He did.
The brains in the studio when he was here.
Yep.
Steven Sheets, he's filled in for us a few times. I appreciate Steven.
Yeah.
He just sent out a tweet saying that if he was here, he would give us all a big hug.
Priscilla Hammond, she's been a guest on the show, a huge supporter. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just in every way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we got our interview with Dr. Joanne Lyon. She was the administrative assistant, and
Yeah.
like, oh yes, and she was so supportive, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many good things we can say about Priscilla, and we can't because of where we're at right now. We just need to have a private conversation with Priscilla to
Yeah,
thank
but honorable
her.
mention and congratulations. She is adjunct prof now with Oklahoma Wesleyan University.
And we would not have she literally paid for a lot of our equipment just by buying stuff for her cats off of our Amazon. link.
Exactly. Jeremy Gertis, he's filled in for a few times.
Yeah.
And Jeremy and Steven are these guys. And Paul Tillman,
Yeah.
guys, I
Yeah.
call at the last minute and say, I need you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
willing to come on. Paul
Paul's
Tillman.
been faithful too. He's in the chat room.
Paul's
I know so is
always
Priscilla.
in the chat
Yeah,
room.
and Zach Burnham, he did this. He did the thing for Chrome, the extension.
Yeah.
And huge thanks to him. And he's one of these delights that just happened along our show, and
Right.
Through a particular guest that
And
we
this was
had, did a
huge spread,
search.
right? I mean,
Yeah. And so that's my honorable mention. Thank you to all of you. These are the things that I will miss. And when I say it's like a death, I mean, these are the things I'm grieving. I feel like with this decision, Matthew and Heath have been so good about saying, Tony, we understand.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand, I'm in the church. I understand scriptures that our actions affect other people. And so I know this impacts other people. Thanks to everybody. We just appreciate it. Getting back to what Matthew said about there's a market for this. While this show has taken more and more of my time, I'm going to tell you something that hasn't been a challenge. The longer that we've done this show, the wider the path is for guests.
Yeah.
So you would think it's like pulling teeth to get guests to come on the show. There are authors out there. One of the things that I grieve is I've got authors stacked up that are ready to either come back and talk about other books that they've written, or others who want the opportunity. With us having such longevity, what's been nice is that over the course of time, people are finding us more and more. We had Paul Brown in studio a few weeks ago. He said, well, how many listeners do you have every day? I said, no, that's the wrong question, Paul. The question is how many viewers do we get over time? And so we've got some podcasts that literally have thousands of views on a single podcast because people do web searches and they eventually find someone that they're looking for. They happen along our interview and it's there. This is it's a market for this in evangelicalism. I mean, there really is. And there needs to be more of what we're doing, not less of what we're doing.
And there are some who are doing similar things.
Yeah,
there are. But yeah, it's just been. I think like if we talk about lessons, too, that we've learned in doing all of this, ask.
Yeah.
I was just shocked.
My word.
I'm shocked by the people who have said yes.
And enthusiastically.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that blow me away. Yes, I would love to do that.
There are times when you have frustrations along the way. There's people that you really want to work with. In fact, I took it down this morning. I forgot that a couple of weeks ago we found out that we had Russell Moore, somebody I was really looking forward to having as a guest, cancel on us again. And sometimes that happened twice.
And I didn't rebook him this
time. No. There are frustrations.
Yeah.
There are frustrations along the way, but
way more victories than frustrations.
The majority of the time you're just getting some incredible wins.
And I would say, from my point of view, everyone that, especially the people that I've interviewed in person, like I can say there's nobody I've been disappointed with. Because
I've got two.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to name names. There are two podcasts. One of them,
right.
I actually.
Come on.
What?
Let's make it a game. Let's see if our listeners can go back.
I will never
Let's see if our listeners can go back and figure out who these people are.
One of the two, I would do again. I would just structure the questions differently because it hit too close to home. On one issue. The other one I wish that we would have never done, and that is
one I know what you're talking about.
Because someone passed themselves off to me more than what they really were.
Right. Now I don't know.
You know.
Wait, yeah, and I guess the thing is,
I'll tell you. Matthew's with me.
Those 10 minutes. That 11:50 to noon when we
write it down. Nobody's gonna see it.
Here, put on a piece of paper for Heath.
Yeah. I think I know the one you're talking about. Man, I lost my train of thought, which is not unusual. But that 10 minutes, that 11:50 to noon. When we have our So I did not. Now I know both of them. Great googly muggly. So anyway, I'm so confused right now.
Never mind what he was saying.
But like I said, those 10 minutes that we have with the guest before the cameras are rolling, where you really get, it's been there
great conversation,
where you and Mark Batterson are talking about the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, right.
Or there was one guest we found out, and you find out where they went to school and who their team is, and you find out it has just been
something nothing to do with the interview. It's
just
you get to know each
personal
other.
Connections.
Those are some of my favorite times. I don't know if TG's got any of those recorded, but I just think
let me put you guys on the spot. Is there a favorite?
Oh man,
is there a favorite interview that you would say that one there?
Favorite thing.
I don't know that I have. For me, it's not a favorite. There are a few that stick out. So oddly enough, over the last 8 weeks, one of my favorites of all time, which came out of nowhere, was the Jason Butler interview.
Yeah.
So for me, that is a highlight. Rosaria Butterfield is one of those that's a highlight for me.
Man, that was a great.
One of our first author guests that we got on because of a book was Kim Meyer.
Yeah,
that's right.
Kim Meyer.
I mean, she was. I don't know if she was the first, but it was just very early on, and
she wasn't the first, but she was early on.
It was one of the. It was really the first time that I began to realize we can do this.
Yeah.
And then it was shortly followed up a little later with Mark Batterson, and we've thrown his name around a ton, but they've just been so gracious to us. Heather Zempel, who also is on staff there, they've been awesome. Like we literally have a relationship with that staff.
I think our first author was Melinda Denton, and then you said to me, we ought to get Ken Meyer on. And so it's like that. And that was my first time of just shooting out an email like, okay, what does this email look like?
Yeah.
What am I saying? And then when she said yes, I think with you, the same reaction like, well, wow, you know, someone wanted to be on our show.
Yeah.
So hey, let me clarify a couple things that are coming up in the chat room right now. So, is anybody going to thank the guy on a buffalo? Yes. In fact,
I didn't see that.
In fact,
I didn't see that.
We found out who he is.
Yeah.
And we're working on contact information. We wanted to have him come on as a guest on the show.
Yes.
It never came through. But we actually found out who the guy is and got that
That's
far.
right. I remember that. Yeah. But
Now,
I told you guys you had to work that interview.
Yeah, and that was my fault.
That's what the show would become if we tried to continue it on without you here,
We
Tony.
need to end with that today. We need to.
I'll have to look it up and see if I got
all
it.
4 parts, and I'll sing along for everyone.
So next point of clarification: everything that we've done is not going to cease to exist.
Right. Right.
It all is there. It will stay
the
there,
lawsuit.
and that includes Priscilla. That includes the Amazon affiliate link.
Yeah.
It'll
You can
stay
still
there
support-
on the website page, and for future purposes and use,
No.
you can still start your shopping. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can still start your shopping through the Amazon affiliate link.
You go to doubledropkick.com, click on support the show.
Everyone's talking. So this has become like the flea market now, where people are trying to.
Hey, listen, this Atari right now. We're gonna start to bid to $50.
No.
We're already getting offers for the pictures behind the wall. Let me just say,
Everything must go.
me-
Everything must go.
Okay.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
So
Here.
I want to officially
yes,
present this to Matthew T.G.
So this is a cool story behind this.
I
thing.
told him if we ever stopped this show that he gets this pen. My mother-in-law lived for years in Janesville, Wisconsin, and that's where the Parker Pen Company is. And it was for years. I don't know if it still is today. And so she got from someone a whole box of Parker pens, different and varying kinds, and that was in it. And so, Matthew, officially, I'm handing it over to you.
I don't know, like, if people know, but like I was educated on this because of you, Tony. This is Parker Pen's a serious,
big time.
serious pen.
It's a premium pen.
and no relation to Parker Brothers.
This is not a Bic. Don't even put a Bic pen next to this. Okay, please don't.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned, and so I guess I want to inspire the children out there that are watching this, is one thing that we've found as the show has grown is Brett, today, everybody has a story to tell, whether it's an author or a pastor or a ministry leader or Mark Burnett, who makes TV and movies.
Right, exactly.
Everybody has a story to tell. And so that, to me, like that, I really see that as one of the things that I'm passionate about is giving people an avenue to tell their stories. So maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I could never do a podcast. I'm just telling you, the technology is there. You can dumb it down and make it happen and just give people an avenue to tell their story and to be an inspiration to others. And that's what I love about this show is I know that I know we've helped people. We've been an inspiration to people.
I've heard,
because it's been an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I feel like
ready to wrap it up.
I feel like
there's still so much more to talk about.
I feel like the Oscar band is getting ready to play us off the
I know.
stage, and we won't be quiet.
There just really is so much to talk about. So you've said your thanks, Tony, and thank you. I know that like the work you've described it often. You said it is work in the amount of time that it requires, but it's a joy. It's not a job.
Work I loved.
Thank you for everything that you've done. People who will watch this, you thanked a lot of them. There's so many that haven't been, but that just have been good friends to us and encouraged us.
Very gracious.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it, guys. I think we need to wrap it up. For one last time, Heath, where might our listeners find you on the internet?
Hey, forever and always, HeathMulliken.com. I guess I'll be spending a lot more time there now. And but hey, thanks so much for following. I'm the only Heath Mulliken in the world, and I would love to be your friend online.
All right, Teej, where can they find you?
Well, right now I'm trying to find the Guy on a Buffalo song, which has come out of our lineup of stuff that we use on the show. So it's not going to happen today, I'm afraid. But you can find me over at MatthewTG.com. That is the spot that will just take you to everywhere else where I can be found.
All right, you can find me at AKC64 at both Twitter and Facebook. Hey, if you want to do any further research on anything we discussed today, you can find all the links to the stories we covered. Listen, seriously, thank everybody out there for those of you that were loyal listeners, for someone who might just stumble along this podcast. We appreciate it. The Lord bless and keep you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Adios.
For the very last time.
One day the guy on the Buffalo was cruising across.
I wish I'd have thought of that.